Hi everyone, welcome to Strong Human Network, the Global Future Lifestyle Club. Today we are doing a session on women, women session on inspirational women, the topic. So we have today Mr. Rajesh Gangwani to our meeting to share his views and ideas on aspirational women. Before going into the topic, I would like to briefly introduce about Mr. Rajesh Gangwani. Mr. Rajesh Gangwani, as a stint of close to 3 decades in advertising and brand building, have worked with leading multinational and domestic clients. His last passion held was managing partner at Vanderman Thompson India. He brings a deep understanding of managing people, having led large multidisciplinary teams, mentoring and supporting team members. Now he's transitioned into professional coaching as an executive and leadership communication coach and facilitator, which is ICF certified. So now I would like to take a call of Mr. Rajesh Gangwani sir to share your thoughts and views about inspirational or aspirational women. Yeah. Hi, sir.
Thank you, Srilekha. And first up, thank you for inviting me to share my views here. And like I always say, every day is Women's Day, so we are celebrating this entire month and maybe every day after that for celebrating women. Um, I'd like to divide this into three parts really, and three things that for me um, are very inspirational things about women. There's so much to talk about women and the role they play in our lives um, as mothers, as sisters, as partners, as friends, as colleagues. So there's so much that one can talk about, and you get influenced. In my own family, I was influenced by a lot of women in the family. Going forward, I had a lot of women bosses initially in my career. So yes, I think women have played a strong role in my personal and professional life. Just want to talk a little bit about the three things that which stand out for me for any conversation around women. The first one and the most important one that comes to my mind is strength. And absolutely no uh, qualms in saying that women, I believe, are far, far stronger than women, um, emotionally, mentally, even physically at times. So, definitely there's something about that intrinsic strength, that resilience, that tenacity, um, that emotional intelligence to be uh, to handle the storms. They're just phenomenal. The way they manage pressure and stress, and no wonder that you see a lot of women today at very senior levels in organizations. So I want to share a little bit a personal story just to bring it to life. One of the aspirational or inspirational woman in my life is my mother. Um, and yeah, she's almost close to 90 years of age now. And she went through a difficult phase some time back. She was 3 weeks in the hospital. And so when she came out of the hospital, and she was quite weak and frail, and the doctor had advised us that she should get as much bed rest as possible and less movement because she was sort of still recuperating. But we were concerned about the fact that because of her weakness, she would not be able to walk to the washroom, and how do you manage that? So we said we'll get a wheelchair to tide over that period when she couldn't. Otherwise she needed support to walk, but she was not on a wheelchair. But we thought that given her condition that she'd come out of hospital after such a long stay, we bought a wheelchair and we just kept it. We told her that we bought this. I must tell you that her reaction was very, very, we were taken aback by the reaction. She was very upset. She was upset and she was angry. Angry as in really angry. And she said, "What is this that you've got?" So we said that, "Mom, that we've got it for you because now, the doctor said you don't need to walk too much, and this will help you to go to the washroom and all that." And there's, of course, a maid, a nurse to support. And she was not at all happy. So we were trying to figure out why is she so upset about it. And then I asked her that, you know why you don't like, you don't like the wheelchair, you don't like the color, you don't like, she said, no, I'm upset because on one hand, I'm trying to get back on my feet quickly. I want to get better faster. And y'all are telling me that I'm dependent on this wheelchair. By putting it there in the same space, you're telling me that, I will need a wheelchair. That really, Shrilekha and Lata shook me up, because imagine where she was coming from. She was coming from the fact that I want to really regain my strength. I want to get back quickly. And here we were thinking of from good intentions of helping her, and so that brought to me that whole aspect of strength. We sometimes underestimate, and like I told you, she's almost nearing 90. We underestimate the power that women have. And it really, even the more stressful it gets, the more difficult circumstances they face, the strength almost multiplies in a sense, right? So to me, that example that I wanted to share with you was was very close to me, and I realized that she has always been in our lives somebody who has been um, probably I would say even more than my father at times, that a person whom you would go to when you are sort of feeling a little less confident, and she gives you all the strength and energy and the confidence to face life's challenges. So that's the first thing I wanted to share. The second one is the other aspect about women. And again, share a little example. Many years back in my career, I was doing I was working on a woman's brand called Pond's Dream Flower Talc. And they were the first brand, if you, in those days, to sponsor the International Women's Day. Now nobody sort of remembers that, but it was a brand, the first brand ever to get associated. And I was working on that brand, and part of the work that I was doing was to get an insight about women. We were doing a new advertising campaign, and we wanted to talk to different women. And one of my jobs was to go and interview some women across different sections of society, different professions. And I had the privilege of meeting the editor of Femina that time, Mrs. Vimla Patil. So she's very, she's quite a character and quite a personality. Of course, she's passed away. God bless her soul last year. But and I went and met her, and she has a really strong persona, and she's a strong feminist also. So she spoke a lot about women, where women are, what are the new um, um, uh, trends, so to say, that are happening around, how women are being portrayed and things like that. And one of the things that still stuck with me, and now I'm talking about even probably maybe 20, 25 years back. And she told me that, you know what? Uh, Women are connected to life with 100 threads. And you're talking about work-life balance, and those were the days that people used to talk a lot about work-life balance and how women were juggling, the typical picture of juggling hats and doing so many things. And she said, forget all work-life balance. I want to experience life in all its glory. Who says I have to do this and that? I have to do so many things and hundreds of things that I want to be part of. And that became the insight for the campaign, that this is the new emerging woman. Forget about this whole work life. You're making her like one victim and dukhiari. And, let's say that she really wants to live it up. And that brings to me the kind of person that I have at very close quarters is my own wife, my wife, my spouse. And she is like, for her, it's carpe diem. It's like seize the day. For her, she's working as a she's a healthcare expert. She's working as a head of a healthcare consulting firm. But for her, work is part of her life, but not the whole part of her life. Then there's family, of course. She's very connected to her family, not just her own family, but my family. Probably sometimes I feel she's more connected to my family than I am to my own family. So she's connected to work, she's connected to family. She wants to travel, she loves traveling. She's fond of events and entertainment. We just had a great Holi festival. We played Holi, I don't know, after so many years, and she was like freaking out on the probably giving all the younger ones a, a run for their money on the dance floor with Holi. So for her, you have to embrace life in all its avatars. It cannot be just, okay, I just want, I'm going to work and coming back and looking after my house. And of course, she's a very proud homemaker as well, as a mom of two young sons. So the point is, for her, it's about make the most of it, live it up, and live life queen size almost. So again, that aspect of women, about not getting constraint or that aspiration, since we are talking about aspirational women, the aspiration to live life completely and fully, not just divided into one, two corners, like men typically will say office and home, I mean, very often. But for her, it is about the whole spectrum to enjoy and celebrate life. So that was the other part that I wanted to talk about. The third one, and also perhaps something that is more traditionally associated with women, is about empathy and kindness. Right? We know that it comes naturally. They are nourishers. They are caretakers. So today I'm in the profession that I am in, which is coaching. I find a lot of women coaches, and they're all my friends and colleagues. The one that you already is part of this network, Anita. Um, so they're all they're there in the coaching profession because they're compassionate. They want to make a difference to the world. They want to make life better. They want to they want to improve themselves, and they want to help other people. So there's a certain sense of um, caring that comes naturally, right? And here again, I would like to share another from my personal life, is about my own sister. And I find her that she's amazingly kind and compassionate. It's almost like she puts herself in the other person's shoes before she even thinks about herself. And I joke and pull her leg a lot of times, saying that I think you should have been a counselor. She used to work in a bank earlier. For many years, she was working in a bank. And I always tell her that actually you should have been doing this job, because with all the nephews and nieces and a lot of children as they were growing up, she was the person that they would go and confide in. She would give them advice of what to do, what not to do. And she would always be very curious and a very patient listener to everything. And almost sort of thinking about what are they going through in their mind, and let me reach them where they are. So again, that came very naturally to her. So those three things that I think, if you look at it, whether it's strength and courage, the second aspect is about this whole live life, queen size, live it fully, and also this bit about empathy and kindness. To me, they have been very real, because I've seen them at very close quarters. In the case of my mom, in the case of my wife, in the case of my sister. And maybe there are so many other aspects that we cannot capture, and it probably needs more time and discussion. But I just thought of these three things to bring to the table when I think of aspirational women, or qualities that inspire me a lot in women. So I hope that answers the question that you had.
Yeah, it was awesome, sir. Really, you have defined very beautifully about the woman, how she should be inspirational or aspirational. Taking own examples, your mother, your wife, and like your sister. Well, it was very great of defining them in such beautifully. uh,
Thank you
yeah.
for giving me this opportunity. It allowed me also to put my thoughts together. Sometimes, it's like, you've grown up, you don't really think and reflect. But when this allowed me to actually reflect on each aspect a little more deeply.
Okay, yeah, yeah. Okay, yes, sir. Thank you, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for sharing your inputs. It was very connective to us also. Like we both, for Lata, me, and every woman to every woman,
Yeah.
it will be very connecting what you have shared and everything. Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you
Thank
so much for
Pleasure.
your
Pleasure is
shares and
mine. Yeah.
thoughts on aspirational women. Yes, sir.
Thank
Yeah,
you so much,
thank
sir.
you.
Thank you so much, sir, for your valuable inputs. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, you can stop.